Hey there, listeners. This is your host, Trenz, signing in, and welcome to another episode of Trenz Podcast. For today's episode, I will be doing a book review of a middle grade book series by author Rick Riordan. The titles of these books are Percy, Jacskson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, and Percy, Jacskson and the Olympians, The Sea of Monsters. Also, follow me on social media such as Instagram at TrenzYBA, at Twitter at TrenzIbanez, and on YouTube as Katrina Ibanez. Without further ado, let's begin the book review. But before I go on to the book review portion of this podcast, let me read to you the summary at the back of the book. Percy Jacskson is a good kid, but he can't seem to focus on his schoolwork or control his temper. And lately, being away from boarding school is only getting worse. Percy Jacskson could have sworn that his pre-algebra teacher had turned into a monster and tried to kill him. When Percy's mother finds out, she knows it's about time that he knew the truth about where he came from, and that he had to go to the one place where he'll be safe. So she sends Percy to Camp Half-Blood, a summer camp for demigods on Long Island, where he learns that his father, that he never knew, is actually Poseidon, god of the sea, one of the big three. Soon, mystery unfolds, and together with his friends, one a satyr and the other a demigod daughter of Athena, Percy sets out on a quest across the United States to reach the gates of the underworld, located in a recording studio in Hollywood, and prevent a catastrophic war between the gods. And now on to my book review of Percy Jacskson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, the first in the series by Rick Riordan, who is the author. And the genre is middle grade fantasy and fiction. There are 377 pages. I started reading this book on September 6, 2021, and finished reading this book on September 9, 2021. And the format was an ebook. It is a book that I would recommend to readers both just starting on their journey and those who have already read a lot of books. I love the facts surrounding the myths and legends of the great gods and goddesses, and the monsters associated with them are accurate, or as accurate as they can get. When myths and legends are involved. This story or series is set out in a more modern setting, showcasing the children of the Greek gods and goddesses and their mortal and immortal relatives, and even the legendary trainer Chiron. Follow Percy Jacskson, son of Poseidon, Annabeth Chase, daughter of Athena, and Grover Underwood, a satyr, as they search for the lightning bolt of Zeus and return it to him before the end of the summer solstice. If they fail to return the lightning bolt, or master bolt, which is the symbol of power of Zeus, before the then line, an all-out war between Zeus and Poseidon will break out, and the remaining Olympians must choose sides. Along the way to the underworld realm of Hades, they encounter and battle against Medusa, Inchana and the Chimera, Krusty aka Procrustes, and they also met Ares for a side quest. Eventually they make it to the underworld to confront Hades, only to find out that Hades did not steal the Master Bolt, aka Lightning Bolt, and in fact his Helm of Darkness, which is his sign of power, was stolen on the same day as the Master Bolt itself. Will Percy, Annabeth, and Grover escape the underworld? Will they be able to stop an all-out war between the Greek gods? Why did Ares seek them out? Find out who stole both the Helm of Darkness and the Master Bolt when you read the book. My dear listeners, read it to find out. go to my review of this book, I will read to you more or less a summary of the second book in the series of Percy Jacskson and the Olympians. The Sea of Monsters is the title. The heroic son of Poseidon makes an action-packed comeback in the second must-read installment of Rick Riordan's amazing young reader series, starring Percy Jacskson, a half-blood whose mother is human and his father is the god of the sea. Riordan's series combines cliffhanger adventures and Greek mythology lessons that results in true page-turners that get better with each installment. In this book, The Sea of Monsters, Percy sets out to retrieve the Golden Fleece before his summer camp is destroyed, surpassing the first book's drama and setting the stage for thrills to continue. And now on to my review of this book. The book is titled Percy Jacskson and the Olympians, The Sea of Monsters. The author is once again Rick Riordan, and its genre is middle grade, fiction and fantasy. There are 279 pages of this book, and I started reading this book on September 9, 2021, and finished reading it on September 13, 2021. And the format was once again an ebook, and my thought. This book is the continuation of Percy Jacskson, son of Poseidon, Annabeth Chase, daughter of Athena, and Grover Underwood's adventures in the modern-day world against the so-called myths of Greece. I would recommend reading this book, but before you read this particular book in the series, read the first book for a more in-depth introduction to our trio. Now let's see. Percy Jacskson has a new friend named Tyson. When Annabeth, Percy, and Tyson reach his Camp Half-Blood, they are greeted with a horrific scene in which their camp is overrun by monsters. Talia's tree has been poisoned, and the protective barriers surrounding Camp Half-Blood are weakening. Chiron has been replaced by Tantalus as the camp director. After winning a disastrous chariot race, Clarice, daughter of Ares, is offered a quest to bring the Golden Fleece back to Camp Half-Blood to save Talia's tree. Tyson, Annabeth, and Percy sneak out of the camp with the help of Hermes, who was the ancient Greek god of trade, wealth, luck, fertility, animal husbandry, sleep, language, thieves, and travel, to search for the Golden Fleece in order to save Camp Half-Blood and Talia's tree. They go on an epic journey to the Sea of Monsters, where they encounter new enemies such as a Hydra, Circe, and Polyphemus, only to find out that it was a trap orchestrated by Cronus and Luke. And to find out who Luke is, you need to read the first book, Percy Jacskson and the Lightning. Will Percy, Annabeth, Tyson, and Clarice receive the Golden Fleece and save Camp Half-Blood? And, more importantly, Talia's tree? Will Percy, Annabeth, and Tyson be able to rescue Grover? Will they find out what Luke is actually planning? Read the book to find out the answers to these questions, my dear listeners. And that's all for the book reviews for today's episode. Hey there, listeners. That's all for today's episode on Trenz Podcast. You can find Trenz Podcast at Apple Podcast and Spotify. Don't forget to follow or subscribe and leave a comment. Want to hear more book reviews and other topics, stay tuned for another episode of Trenz Podcast.